Hey guys, welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, and I am Ophia. How's it going, guys? I know what you guys must be thinking right now says, what the hell is he doing with another damn macro guide? Yeah, I know. But I feel so strong about this. It's just something I gotta get out of my system. Alright, so today I got to for you guys is a cleric stance. No, it's cleric dance macro. I'm sorry. Wow. Okay, so I actually wanted to do a cleric stance, but I wanted to do one on a controller scheme. I already have one set up for keyboard and mouse, but I wanted to do one for a controller scheme as well. So I'm going to show you guys what I got here. If you see my controller scheme right now as it sits, it's all healing. So I got all my heals up here and everything, but I've got a couple of macros in here. I've got healing macros. I've got, oh, that's my wave, and then I got my cleric stance macro where it goes, but no damage, right? None at all. I've got some icons with my pet cooldowns, but I got no access to my pet hotbar. I've turned that off on my hotbar settings. I just don't like it. But if you look in here, I've got some, and this is my extended hotbar. I have macros here for the pet summon, as well as I usually throw out a message for buffs when it basically says don't move. I'm casting buffs. I know a lot of people when they get in dungeons for the first time just want to run straight to the damn boss. Yeah, and then I got swift cast macroed with my raise, so I might invite you to bring another raise in here just to have it, because I don't want to always use swift cast. Well, if you look at it the way it is right now, I mean, I got no damage set up on here, right? Well, I do, but you can't get access to the hotbar that has the damage on it without going through the macro. So let's take a look at the macro I got set up. Now the macro I got set up is right here. And what this does is it will switch me into cleric stance. It will turn my pet, because right now I got control over my pet. I can use its cooldowns, but it will turn my pet to where it will take the AI will take over. All right, and then it will swap my hotbar out, because we want to swap the hotbar out because we're doing cleric stance, or we're doing a stance dance, so we want to have some access to some damage dealing skills. All right, so we select our stance. And then now we got all these skills. Wow, everything. And I do have you can add in some other stuff here. I was thinking about adding in my companion icons, my companion stuff in here, because a lot of times when I'm doing damage dealing, I'm usually running my companion as a tank. I'll let Ilios or Celine heal while I will do some damage. But yeah, I've also got another macro here. I'll go over that macro in a second. But basically, it's just a straightforward in and out macro. It's just a hotbar swap. That's all it is. Nothing too big, other than the cleric stances added to it, and the pet, sick and obey commands are added to it. So it's nothing really big. So let's take a look at these macros that I got set up. And I do have something else for you guys. I normally would type these out and show you guys how to write these things, but I did something better for you guys. I actually started a Google document to where you can just copy everything off of there and paste it into your game. Make it so much easier. All right, guys. Well, I got first right here, I got my cleric stance, and this is doing my hotbar swap. All right. So all I'm doing is, well, first thing I'm doing is I'm using the icon from the cleric stance here. Then I'm using the cleric stance skill itself, and then if you notice, if you ever seen any of my other videos, this is actually different. This actually says, excuse me a minute. Oh, this actually says cross hotbar, because we're using a controller scheme. We have to use the cross hotbar command, not the hotbar command, because usually if it was let me go ahead and show you here. This is what it looks like for the keyboard and mouse. It's just straight hotbar. But because we're using a controller scheme, we have to use cross hotbar. Now, it's basically the same thing. You're using cross hotbar as your command, you're using change as your sub command, and then we're just hotbar number 4 is where we select to place everything. It doesn't necessarily have to be hotbar 4. That's just one I chose. It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 5. You know, you got 8 hotbars on your controller scheme, so you can use any one of those. But technically, I use 1 and 8, and I use 8 as an extended hotbar. So those are usually the only 2 I can't use. I can use any other ones in the game. So from 2 to 7 is all free. Alright, so now number 1, or number 1, I got it to where this, I had them both cleric stance, but then I was like, well, that's kind of confusing. Like right here, it's both, and I'm like, well, no, I'm stipulate 1 to where it would go look like. All right, I'm going back to hotbar number 1, so that's what that is. All right, so right here I got just the cleric stance command, and the hotbar change command, which is cross hotbar change to 1. And then the pet goes into obey, which actually puts the pet back in my control, turns the AI off. It will still do the heals, but it won't do any of the cooldowns that will come with the actual AI on. Now here, here's where it gets really difficult. If you look at this, this is what I did before. This is my hotbar setup for my pet summon. For the keyboard and mouse, you know, you got hotbar, pet, and Whispering Dawn. So this is adding the pet command Whispering Dawn to hotbar number 2, button number 2. Again, you got Fey Covenant added to hotbar 2 on button number 3. Well, I will say right now, the controller scheme is a lot, and I mean a lot more complicated. And I'll show you. This is what it looks like. So you gotta use, I used the C hotbar command here because I didn't want to write it out too much. So I used the C hotbar command, Whispering Dawn, and then again we have number 1 indicated as our hotbar, so we can actually add that as number 2 or number 3. But those are the hotbars we're going to be populating the skills onto. So. And here's where it gets really difficult to understand, because this is LA1, and I have a key or a legend that I actually got out of here. Let me show you what it looks like. You can open up the menu here and scroll down to cross hotbar. It will actually show you the legend. It is unbelievably complicated, and it took me a few minutes to figure out what it was trying to say here. But basically, each one of these slots, so like if you hold the left trigger down and mash Y, that slot actually has a name, which is LA2 or LAU. So this stands for LA up or LA button number 2. So yeah, it's a little complicated. And this only gives me the control scheme for the Xbox controller, because I'm using the Xbox controller on my PC. I don't have the legend for the Xbox. I'm sorry, the PlayStation controller. If you guys have a PlayStation controller and you're on PC, or if you just have a PlayStation, you guys can email me the a screenshot of this, and that way I can put it in my document, and it'll be a lot easier for others to kind of read I guess transcribe what they need to do, because it does feel like transcribing some ancient text. So yeah, once you figured out what the scheme was, yeah, it was easy enough to plug them in afterwards. It took some trial and error though. So LA1 or left, and I don't know what the A stands for, button number 1. So that would be the left trigger blue or left trigger X button. This would be the left trigger A button, left trigger B button. So yeah, it's extremely complicated. And then I got again the wait 7, because you gotta have time to cast the spell, and then between latency and rounding up to full seconds had to be wait 7 seconds versus I think it's like a 5.2 cast time for the summons. I had to wait for 7 seconds. And then the pet command or pet action, obey, which basically again it tells the pet, let me do all the controlling of the cooldowns. You can still heal, but I get control of your heal downs, right? And then this is well, that's just Aeleos and this is Selene. Basically the same thing. I'm just populating the Selene Pacific skills into these hotbar buttons, cross hotbar button. Right? So that's it for the, well, as far as the changing. I do have a rune here. Like if you notice here, I have rune, and it's an actual macro. I actually have rune 1 or rune 2 macro before rune 1 because we know that 2 commands can't go off at the same time. But I didn't want to add another rune or rune 1 to this hotbar scheme. But I still wanted to be able to use it in like lower level dungeons, especially like in the lower dungeons where Selene and Eos can basically do all the healing by themselves, and all you have to do is just damage deal. So yeah, so I didn't want to use another key, so I actually made this macro to where if I am at level, I can use rune 2, and if I'm under the level for rune 2, I can use rune 1 with using the same keystroke. Now this is a little iffy because rune 2 has a rune 2 has a short cooldown. The chances of you kicking off rune 1 is very slim, but you can still do it if you mash the button fast enough. You can still do it, so you might want to be careful. And again, I have, you know, basic gather round, casting spell buffs for my protect. And what else did I have? I had healing. Basically the healing icon where I cast physic on the target and my pet will cast embrace on the same target. I can't use the mouse over on a controller scheme. I do have access to the virtual mouse, but it's extremely slow. I wouldn't suggest using it. You can cast 2 heals before you get the damn virtual mouse over someone. And then again, I have it again here for Eloquium, where you cast Eloquium and the pet will also cast a heal on top of that. Now you might say, well, that's a waste of MP. I don't care. You know, I mean, I play the game where I want to. I mean, if you don't want to do that, then you can just delete that. You don't need it. Or just drag the regular skill over to there. You don't need that. But I'm trying to make things easier for my dungeon runs and to make sure I have enough healing to top the tank off when I need to, without having to hit the oh my god heal button. All right, so that's about it in a nutshell for Scholar. Now, guys, I did try to do Astrologian. Now, I want to say my Astrologian's a little on the gimp side because I still got some skills I need to work with. I'm still in the combat, so it won't let me change. But I did write out some macros for the Astrologian too. I will still in combat. There we go. All right, so I mean, I got it. It's not hard. I mean, it's just the same thing. It's, you know, all the heals on 1, all the damage dealing on 2, and then I just did 1 and 2, and that's all it was. It's just a basic, real basic macro. So like I told you before, I have a Google document online that I am actually making up now. I'm going to show you guys that right now, and this is what I come up with so far. So I got there's that legend again. So I got the macros for the cleric stance, or the scholar stance here. And if you want, you can just copy these and paste them into the game. And all you have to do is just change out the hotbar that you want to. So you can do a 3, you can do a 2. I got 4, only because it just happened to be 1 I'm not using. That's the only reason I chose it, really. But this is the first icon to switch you into cleric stance. This is the second macro to switch you into. It switches you out. Again, we're using pet commands here because this is for the scholar. If it wasn't for the scholar, then you would just omit that, just delete it. You don't really need it for any of the other classes. But this this macro would work for any of the other classes. Just omit the pet action. That's all you really need. And then I got the ruin macro broken down to where I can use the same ruin key for both ruin 1 and ruin 2. Then again, I have the pet commands, or the pet summons, I'm sorry, where they populate the keyboard, the cross hotbar number 1, the second slot, I would imagine it's called. And again, I have the key here for the Xbox. If you guys can get me the PlayStation one, I would be most grateful. Most grateful. And then the healing macros I use. And then I also have the keyboard and mouse macros in here for you guys. If you want to copy those, you're more than welcome to try those out. And remember, all you have to do is just change the number of the hotbar that you want to change it to, and then just add your skills onto that hotbar, and you're golden. That's all. That's it, man. I mean, once I sat down and once I started working with the macros, it all became so much clearer. Now, I will say that the legend still throws me off a bit, and I'm real interested in seeing how the PlayStation looks. So I might actually do some research on that. But again, guys, I'm gonna add. I'm gonna try and come up with a natural legend stance, but I would probably say it wouldn't be much more than what I've got right now, where I'm just swapping in and out of the cleric stance and just doing a hotbar swap. And if that's it, then that's it. I mean, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. A hotbar swap's fairly simple, and not like you're changing skills around or buttons around. I mean, you can get that complex, but you got to show me where it is worth the complexity versus just dragging over. I mean, switching to a new hotbar and dragging over the skills to it. So that's that's pretty much in-depth guide of what I've got right here. I will say, if you guys have any problems with this, let me know in the comments below. I'll try to help you out with anything you might not understand, as well as maybe I can explain it better. I'm not beyond going to re-record this video just to make it explain it a little better. And I hope I'm explaining enough to you guys to where you can figure out what it is. But a lot of these videos, they're compiling on each other. So if you haven't watched any of the other videos, you might want to go watch some of them, because there's a lot of stuff I'm doing that I'm just omitting because I'm actually making a video series of these. So it might be a good idea to go back, and if you don't understand something, see if there's something in there that will explain it. Alright, now I'm getting long, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the video off here, and I thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like down below if you like these things, if you like the videos. If you have any problems with the video or anything with the description, leave me a comment down below. If you have ideas on macros that you want to see or want to even add, let me know. I'll add them to the macro guide. I mean, it's not just mine, it's everybody's guide. I mean, if we can make a decent enough list, then I'll be happy. But like I said, I'm gonna let the video go here, guys. I will see you guys next time. Take care and good night.